Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Ninja Turtle, and today we're going to talk about this Magik, this Ilyana Rasputin custom that I have remade for the third time actually. Way back towards the beginning of my channel back in 2020, I made a custom Magik figure, and this is my remake of that. However, I did post in the community channel a few months ago about this remake, and I did start the process. In fact, I pretty much finished that figure a few months ago, this figure a few months ago, but then tragedy struck in multiple ways. One, that figure that I made a few months ago, I tried sculpting the hair myself, and that didn't look all that great, and I didn't like it anyway. But what was worse about it is that I was experimenting with different top coats at the time, a couple months ago. So the top coat I put on the hair and on her chest started sticking together because the hair was touching the chest area, so the paint was rubbing off and it was getting all over the place. It was getting messy, so that was bad. And then secondly, the arm area was also sticking together for the metal arm area, so that was getting really nasty paint rub and stuff. And then lastly, the spikes on her arm, she had fell over. She was standing up and then she fell over, and then these spikes on her arm broke off. So that was like 1, 2, 3 right after another. And I was like, you know what, I was really frustrated. Even though what I had made looked really good, other than the hair, but everything else was just going bad. So I decided to shelf the project. Literally, I put her on my shelf and just like didn't make a video about it, and decided I'd come back to it later. And here we are later. It is now January 2025. I went ahead and made some changes. So, and updated it and fixed things and made it a lot better than it was prior to this. So one of those things is, you can pretty much see it already, is this head is not sculpted by me. This is a 3D printed head. So I went ahead and went in that direction. What I did with the hair the first time around it was pretty much my first time attempting to do long hair like that. Well, not entirely, but her style of hair was the first time I tried that, and it didn't work out. I learned some things. Maybe in the future I'll try sculpting hair again like that, but for the short time being, I had seen these 3D printed heads, so I went ahead and bought one. Actually, I bought multiple ones. So but I'll come back to that thought in a second. This 3D printed head looks really great, and it looks exactly like Magik to me. The head pieces are all part of that printing process, so it all came that way. The hair is very rigid. The entire thing is rigid, so it doesn't bend or anything like that. But it came like this, and then I just painted it, and I decided to go with blue eyes. I was contemplating doing white eyes, and I was actually, we'll go ahead and talk about it now. I was thinking about doing 2 Magik figures, not just this one, but I was going to do a second one that was going to, initially the plans was to make a second Magik figure that's going to be like a younger version of her, like in her old standard uniform, but with like the more silver arm, basically when she just got those magical powers and limbo and all of that stuff, if you know anything about Magik. But the more traditional classic Magik when she was younger, that was the idea. That was what I was going to do. And one of the reasons why I decided to not do that is right here. So here is a prototype build of what that was going to be. I'm going to slide her over here. Usually I would be talking about the makeup, but we're going to talk about Magik because I like her. But yeah, this was going to be that. This is just like a head just so I can get a good height estimation. It is actually a Mary Jane head and hair, but the rest of this was going to be the actual build for the shorter, younger Magik, um, relatively like this. But one of the reasons why I'm not doing it is mostly because I don't like this arm enough. I like it, and this arm is from Spiral, right? So it's double jointed, it's pinless, it is the left arm, and all of that. So it's perfect for all of those reasons. But there's two issues. One, her hands, Spiral's hands, she only has four, or I should say three fingers and one thumb, as opposed to most regular people with four fingers and a thumb. So you would either have to just accept the fact that she would be one finger short, or accept the fact that you'd have to make a new hand with a regular hand and add sculpt or just paint it, or whatever you want to do. Or sorry, I need to silence my phone. Or damn, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Or you could sculpt your own arm from scratch, right? If that's something. But the real reason why I'm not doing any of those things is actually the way it fits in here in this socket. Can we get a little focus in here? Well, long story short, you can't really see it too well, maybe the hair, but it doesn't fit super well in this socket. I mean, I don't get no focus right now. Hello. Give me some focus, please. There we go. Sorry about that. But yeah, there's just too much of a gap. Like, you see that gap right there? It's too much for me. I don't like all of that space. Now, I've been, and most recently, making non-articulated figures and filling in all types of gaps like that. But I wouldn't want to do that with Eliana or with this arm. I would just use a regular arm if I was going to fill in gaps and make a non-articulated version. Just use a regular arm. I would want to use this since it articulates and is pinless and all that stuff, but it just doesn't fit in there. So right now that project is scrapped. I'm not, or at least shelved. I'm not gonna go ahead and make a classic Ileana using that arm, but more power to you if that's something that you think is acceptable and you want to do it yourself. There you go, Spiral's arm. The other thing I was going to do, because I was going to do that and then I decided, no, I don't want to do this. I do have a second head, so I will reach behind me and grab. Bada boom. So I was going to consider doing a Phoenix 5 Magik. Another thing to, please excuse me, my dog is barking and I can't stop her because I'm doing this right now. So please excuse that. I was going to do a Phoenix 5 Magik, which she doesn't have the head pieces for. So this is the exact same 3D printed head that that they are built without the head pieces. And this one did come with the head pieces, and I will circle back to that in a second. But I was going to do Phoenix 5, and I was going to make it non-articulated, and I did start that project, but things got a little frustrating. I was gluing pieces together, and some pieces weren't fitting the way they were supposed to. Arms weren't going in, but it was glue involved, so a lot of stuff just didn't work out. The legs were really, really, really annoying to put together for some reason, and I decided to just scrap everything because I was literally throwing it across my room in frustration trying to put it together, and it just wasn't working out. So perhaps in the future I'll come back to Phoenix 5 Magik and use this head for it, and just do it maybe later this year, maybe next year, maybe never. I don't know yet. I might even save this head for some other costume for Magic uh, that has, in the future that she doesn't have a headpiece for, and then maybe I want to use it for that. So right now, Phoenix 5 Magic is shelved or benched, or, you know, we'll see what happens with that. So going back to the heads, though, this is a 3D printed head. I've seen several 3D printed heads for Magic. I believe personally that this one is the best looking one. Um, there is one that has like a windswept hair, but for me that one's jaw line is really rigid, and I don't like it for Magic. I think she should look a little softer, but still, like this basically. But I don't like the way that one looks. And then there's another one that I would actually recommend over this one anyway, because of this reason. So, as I said, this one doesn't have the head piece on it, and that's because it came that way in the mail, because the person that I bought it from, which I will not name the seller because of this reason, they didn't package it well enough, and the head pieces actually broke off in the mail. So I ordered two from the same person, and the head pieces just broke off on this one, which sucks, but was ultimately okay because I was going to do that anyway. So again, I had bought two, one to be this Magic, and the second one to be a classic Magic or Phoenix 5 Magic, where she didn't need the headpiece. So I was going to break it off. So I wasn't mad when it came in. It was just, well, it shouldn't be that way, but fine. It's fine. I'll take care of it. It's what I wanted anyway. But the problem is, I messaged the seller, the person that printed these, and told them, hey, this arrived in the mail broken. You should package your things better next time. Lucky you, I'm not mad at you because I actually was going to break it off anyway, is what I said in the message. That was several months ago. He has not responded. So if he just said, oh, sorry about that, or here's a credit, or please, next time I'll do better, something, anything at all, I would still be buying from him, and I would recommend and let you know who I bought it from and recommend them to you so you can buy from them too. But since they decided to completely ghost me, and I don't want to recommend a seller to you that doesn't package their things very well. So, because these things are very rigid. In fact, as much as I say the headpieces broke off in the mail, while I was trying to fill the holes, right, so that they can be prepped and fitted onto a figure, the hair on this one too, these two pieces broke off. So they're actually been glued back together by myself. I broke them off, but again, it's really thin and really rigid, so it's easy to mess up. Also, one of the head pieces on this one broke off as I was preparing it as well, so I had to glue that back on. So like I was saying, I like this headpiece, but I actually would recommend that you buy one of the other ones that's out there it looks very similar to this, but the headpieces are a little shorter and a little thicker, at least from what I noticed. So I think that it would travel better. You don't have to worry about pieces breaking off in the mail if you bought that one. Now, I don't know, there's various sellers who sell that, so I don't have any like direct links or anything like that. You'll just have to be on the lookout. And most of the time when you type in something like Ilyana Rasputin or Magic Head or something like that, you're not going to get anything, because they try to mask the names of these characters so they don't get any flags from Marvel or DC or whoever, so they don't have the actual names of the characters listed on their selling profiles on eBay or Etsy or wherever. So be on the lookout, though. I do still like this one a lot. It looks fantastic. So that is a lot about the head. Normally I talk about the feet and stuff first and work our way up. So let's go ahead and do that on this build. So this build is more or less the same as my original build for Magic way back then. Well, It's more or less the same, but some upgrades here and there, some minor changes. So before I was using more Kate Bishop legs. They were actually the legs before on the Domino or Mockingbird. This time I'm embracing the goth boots. So these are pretty much the same goth boots that you would get on Magik anyway if you bought the Walgreens one or the recently re-released one. It's the same ones, but I still repainted them so they have a little bit more of a sheen to them. And from there up, we have just the thighs. The thighs are bodysuit thighs, so these are more for or from a what character I use? Like Black Widow or one of the Age of Apocalypse Jean Greys, one of those type of figures. But these are bodysuit thighs originally. So they're a little bit longer, and that's why I'm using the shorter swivel boot, these goth boots. So that makes up for the difference and also makes it a little bit shorter than my previous build. But this still using the same lower torso. So this is a Emma Frost lower torso, and then upper torso is a Blink, right? But we have enhanced the chest quite a bit. The last time I did this, 4 or 5 years ago, I did not do any enhancements on her chest whatsoever, and I thought it looked fine. But then over the years, I'm like, yeah, she should have a boob window and actually have boobs in it. So I've, because I didn't do that before. So this time, she definitely has a chest in there. It is definitely there now. Can't hide that. So that enhancement. There's a little sculpt going around the window as well, and there's some sculpted details. Hard to see because the hair is in the way, but there's like sculpted lines going down the sides as well. On the right arm over here, let's go ahead and talk about that. I decided to go with a... Oh man, got afraid right there. This thing is fragile. If it falls the wrong way, these hair pieces are going to break off. If it falls the wrong way, the head piece is going to break off. So I'm very scared. Anyway, I decided to embrace a double jointed pinless arm. This one is a black arm already, so this area inside, like the elbow and stuff, already black plastic. No need to sand or anything like that, so no paint rub. I took the shoulder piece from off of Emma Frost, the black Emma Frost costume. Took that from that jacket and glued it onto the shoulder part of this arm, so it already has that X sculpted in there, and just repainted it with red and black. Put a satin finish on it. We have a one glove or cuff or whatever piece. I believe that's from the Punk Storm, and then just a black hand. The sword comes from the original release of Magik, as well as this white one, which is the real original sword for Magik. This white soul sword from the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version of Magik. This is the only release of Magik that has this white sword, so I'm going to use it because I bought it and then I scrapped it, so I have to use this. But I still do have the other releases of the sword as well, so I can swap in the yellow or just keep it at the white. I don't know if I'm going to ever make Rasputin. That's a new character. She uses the white sword and Magik uses the yellow sword now. If I ever make Rasputin, and then I'll just take this sword and give it to Rasputin, and then give Magik the yellow sword. And then back to the other arm, the metal arm. So this one is much different than the actual release. So I did take the spikes for the from the full release Magik and cut those off. You can hardly see that, but yeah, I took the spikes off of the original release and just cut them off, and then added this arm itself is just a jacket arm from White Rabbit. So it's the left arm from White Rabbit, and then I added some sculpt around there that's really soft sculpt, but it's on there. It's hard to see given the lighting, sorry, but that, and then glued all of these spikes on there, sanded, prime, painted. The paint color is a gunmetal black, and then I added gloss on top of that. The rest of the black is, on her chest and stuff is just regular black with a satin finish. Um, but yeah, it's nice and spiky. I think it looks really cool. It's hard to see the detail given the black of the paint. I wish actually the gunmetal black was a little bit lighter. Maybe I could have gone with a gunmetal like steel or something like that. Something that is close to black but not exactly. I don't want to, the two blacks don't match between the two, the chest and her arm, but I want it to be a little bit more distinctive, and might be able to see some of the details. Either way, I still think it looks really nice. And if we go back to her face, all right, again, that 3D printed head looks great. Dark red lipstick, painted the eyes light brown on the eyebrows. Could have gone black, whatever your preference is. You can even go blonde eyebrows if that's what you're into. And yeah, hand painted the eyes. The 3D printed head sculpt does have sculpted on eyeliner and or eye lines and eyelashes, so I had to go with that. Although the eyelashes on her right side didn't print very well, only on the left side they're a little bit more discernible. That's it. That is all for Miss Ileana Rasputin. I'm very happy to gone back and update this and fix it, because it just looks a lot better than it did 3 months ago, that's for sure. And then also in the course of 4 or 5 years of doing customs, I've improved quite a bit. So this looks way better than my original version. So I'm glad that I was able to address that. Like I said, there is a small chance that I will make more Magik in the future using this extra head. Either I come back and do that Phoenix 5, or I decide to go ahead and make the younger Magik with this arm, or maybe some other kind of way, figuring it out. So basically her face will look exactly the same as this, but that's why I don't want to necessarily use this one, because it's so mature of a face, and you can see how it looks like when it's painted. I'd rather a younger face use a smaller, younger looking head. So it's probably Phoenix 5 for me, but only time will tell what the future may hold for Ileana and my custom making. Thanks for watching this video. I know it was a little bit long, and hell, I was talking about a 3D printed head for most of the time. Next time I use 3D printed stuff, though, I will tell you who I bought them from, because I don't buy them from this person anymore. I've been using another person on Etsy quite a bit, so I'll let you know who that is the next time, and that will be Jill Valentine. I've got a handful of Jill Valentines to make, so that's going to be the next project that you'll see on this channel and on my socials. So thanks for watching. I'm excited for the Jill Valentine stuff, so it's going to be really fun to start working on that very soon. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.